leaders don't set out to be a leader. They set out to make a difference. It's never about the role, it's always about the goal. Keeping this idea of leadership in mind, today we kickstart a new series of episodes, The Revenue Room. In each episode, we'll delve into the lives of the extraordinary leaders, and in the process, we will gain from the rich pool of wisdom. The idea is to provide insights that can inspire and guide the upcoming generation of leaders. Greetings of the day. My name is Ayushi Kalwar.
And I am Riju Shrivastava.
We welcome you to the Revenue Room on behalf of the 75th batch of IRS Customs and Indirect Taxes of NACIN Palasamudram. To add to the speciality of our very first episode, we have with us someone who is truly an epitome of brilliance and vibrance. Our today's guest is someone who has not only excelled in his over 3 decades of career, but has been a champion in many diverse fields. From being a doctor to an IRS officer, from being a marathon runner to being an umpire, Sir has truly shown us how it is done. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about none other than our Director General of NACIN Palasamudram, Dr. K. and Raghavan Sir. Thank you so much, sir, for agreeing to come here and gracing us with your presence. Sir is a 1990 batch IRS Customs and Indirect Taxes officer. During his tenure, Sir has worked in almost all the formations, including GST, Central Excise, Customs, Directorate of Revenue Intelligence, etc. Sir has been the Executive Director of the Rubber Board of India and has also headed the Tea Board of India. Apart from this, Sir has served as the first secretary in the Indian High Commission in Singapore. In addition, Sir has authored 6 books, including fictional and non-fictional. Sir is an excellent marathon runner and is fond of cricket as well. I can go on and on about Sir, but then we'd love to hear more from you, Sir. How does it feel, Sir, to be the first Director General of the newly built campus, Nasin Palasamudram? And what are your thoughts, Sir, these days?
Well, thank you, Ayushi. Thank you, Riju. First, congratulations on this venture and all the best as you go along with this. I am indeed very happy and proud that the first batch here, the 75th batch, is doing this. And I'm sure it will be a great venture and a great success too.
Thanks so much,
So
sir.
you asked me about my thoughts about being the first DG here.
Sure.
Well, every tenure in the department has its highs, has its lows. So it has been a mixed bag, like every other posting. Here, the high point definitely was commissioning your classes on 3rd of June. It was a race against time. It was a promise that was given to board and to the ministry that we'll have the 75th batch commence their training here. And of course, the inauguration by Honorable Prime Minister was another high. And it was an event that went off well. His interaction with the OTs was the high point of that. There have been some setbacks also, like there have been a delay in the construction process. Well, I would have loved to stay in a quarter and work. That hasn't happened. Maybe the whole process has got delayed by a few months. But overall, when you look at it, there are more reasons to smile than to feel sad about.
Yes, so we're glad that you are our Director General. Sir, a very cliche UPSC question will start from like why and like what inspired you to join the civil service?
Well, I was trained as a doctor, so you should ask why doctor. When I completed +2, we didn't have too many options. It was either you go for engineering or you go for medicine or you go for law. My father was a lawyer, so law was out of it. I thought it was the most unglamorous profession. I was good in maths, so engineering would have been a good choice. But then there was a lot of unemployment during those days, and I'd actually seen some very close relatives hunting for jobs after securing very good marks. Then I thought, okay, if you take a career in medicine, you can have your practice, you don't have to worry about jobs. And it was quite glamorous. So I went for medicine, but a couple of years into the medical college, I realized it's not for me. I have too many diverse interests. A good doctor has to be totally focused on his work. So those days, the only way out, the only option out was to write the civil service. So after completing MBBS, I wrote the exam once, was lucky to get in, and here I am. So it is not that I started with the intention of writing civil service, but because I was sort of misfit in medicine, I thought civil service was the only option available. That's how I landed up in civil service.
Great, sir.
Sir, it was so nice to hear where you're coming from, your roots. Sir, seeing us, you must be feeling a deja vu about your probation days. You've been there, done that. So what sort of a probationer our DG sir was? Was he a KTP? What sort of probationer can we call you, sir?
I think you must ask the faculty during those days as to how I was. No, it was totally different. Let me tell you, we didn't have an academy proper. So we had our customs training in Chennai, we have our exercise training in Delhi, and these were part of the floors of a building or a high rise. So we didn't have any other facilities. So maybe a commute, we used to get a bus which was hired from the customers or from the formation. So an academy of this nature was never in our mind. We didn't have it. Well, I don't think I was a KTP ever, but then I never used to bunk classes because they made me the PMC. So that ensured that I had to be present every day because almost all the instructions from the faculty used to come through me. So I was sort of, what do you call, caught between the probationers on one side, we used to call ourselves probationers, and the faculty on the other side. So I used to get it from both sides. So I was in the KTP, but okay, I was rather serious. I never took it lightly. We had a very different training program altogether. So we didn't have so many attachments like you have. We had very few attachments. We had a longish attachment to customers and to central excise formation. So which we took to place of our choice. And more or less, you were told that you will pick up as you go along, and which was what we did. We are serious about the work once you sat on the seat, but probation time was, there wasn't much of a control over us, but then we thought we should learn. Otherwise, you would look like fools if you go outside. So I think that would sum up. Not a KTP, definitely, but not a CTP also, not a cool type also, falling somewhere in between.
So post the classroom sessions, what were your favorite pastime? How you used to spend your time for personal development?
Post the classroom session, there were two of these things, because one was sports was obviously this thing. So most of the times I used to go for a jog in the evening. I used to read some time. Then that is also a time when you'll catch up with your um, colleagues and service mates and batch mates. So some amount of socializing, some amount of sport, and maybe some amount of reading. So this would sum up the. And those days, another important thing was that there were no mobile phones, and our phones in the hostel did not have STD connection. So for making a call out, you'll have to walk up to the nearest STD booth, which was in the evening, that will entail a walk of for a couple of kilometers. So that way we kept ourselves fit also.
It's nice to hear.
Sir, coming to your professional career, so is there anything which you wish so you had done in a different way looking back?
No, I don't think I would have done anything differently. I was lucky in the sense that I had rather postings that I had sought for, or rather I found joy in all the postings that I got. If you look at my career graph, I spent close to 20 years in my home state of Kerala, which doesn't normally happen. Well, I enjoyed working there, so I don't have any complaints on that. I had three longish deputations, twice to Government of Kerala, so that took almost 5 years. Once to ME as a coin officer, that took 4 years.
Yes, sir.
And then one to Ministry of Commerce, again in Kerala as heading rubber board, when I held charges of many other boards also, another 4 years. So 12 and a half years I was outside the department. That is a bit of a problem, because you see in the department, the changes happen in a very rapid rate. So if you're out for 4 years, you'll find that the entire landscape has changed by the time you've come back. So that posed some difficulties. But other than that, no, I'm very happy because let's be honest, when I wrote the exam, none of us write the exam to get into IRS. We write the exam to get into IAS or IFS, some of the services that that are normally visible to the public eye. But I had the opportunity of working in areas which are normally handled by other services. So the deputations to state government, deputation to Ministry of Commerce, this helped me to actually work with people at the grassroots level. So which was a very satisfying experience. So looking back, no, if I had one more tenure, one more chance of doing it, I would do it almost the same or the similar way.
That's really interesting, sir, and something to learn from you. Sir, you have authored books on a wide range of topics, starting from international relations to cricket, both fictional and non-fictional. So we're just curious to know as to what drove you to write this books, and like being in a profession like IRS especially, and how did you manage time for same, sir?
I'm sure that will be the longest answer.
Sure, sir, we are ready for it.
No idea of writing a book. And in 1999, a friend of mine who had a publishing house in Kerala contacted me and asked me to write a book on Cricket World Cup. I honestly thought he was joking, because I asked him, "How do you know that I write?" Then he recalled that I had written a magazine in this college magazine. I had written an article about Kapil Dev, so he felt I could write. Anyway, when I went home and discussed, obviously spouse said, laughed at it, but my daughter said, if you do it, you will become famous, please write. So that was the actual inspiration. It was about a World Cup. It was called World Cup Chronicle. But when I wrote the book, I found that actually I like writing. It brought me a lot of pressure. It relaxed me. So after this, when I went to Singapore in 2007, I met a person. There was only one Singapore newspaper publication. They were bringing out a particular edition for Indians called Tabla. So when I spoke about cricket and all that, he said, why don't you write? So I started having a column in that, which appeared once in a fortnight. Again, I enjoyed it. And in Singapore, I got a lot of reading material, a lot of time to read. So I spent a lot of time in the library reading. So Nehru was a favorite topic, and I could never understand how we could actually fight a war with China and lose it, because wars can be prevented. So what exactly caused a war is something which is actually I had a lot of curiosity on. The easy explanation was it was Nehru trusted Krishna Menon, this was Krishna Menon's mistake. I thought that was too simplistic. So there I had access to books, and then when I read about it, I found that whatever I had heard about it, I had perceived about it was completely wrong. So I thought I should write for my own purpose so that at least I will know what happened. As I wrote, it took the form of a book. And then one publisher said he will publish it. Then somehow we had access to General Malik. He read the book. He said he will come for the release. So that gained a traction of its own. Then again, another publisher asked whether I could write on Tibet and Dalai Lamas. I didn't know much about it, but then I read up and did it. The works on fiction happened because fiction, I don't have any imagination or something like a regular fiction writer. But one or two instances happened in life which triggered some thoughts, and then the book happened. So one is on basically about closet homosexuality, so sexuality, and the other is about match fixing and other things in cricket. Then because I was in Cochin and it's a small place, they used to call me for Ramayana lectures. So I used to do that, and because of COVID times, this used to be done online. So one person who heard it told me, why don't you write about it? So that is how the next book came in. One is under publication, which is I written about my days in rubber boat. That was 4 years, so that will get published. Incidentally, another thing that happened accidentally was that when I wrote the fiction on cricket, I write in English. So I sent it to a publisher. One publisher said it is Kerala-centric, nobody will be interested. So he sent it back. So I went to a Kerala-centric publisher. He said, you'll publish it, but then he said, why don't you write in Malayalam? I said, I haven't written in Malayalam. He said, why don't you try? So I took that Google input tools app and I translated myself. Incidentally, that book is into its third edition, which is I am myself surprised. So these things give you a lot of
Fascinating stuff to know.
confidence. So nowadays I'm writing in Malayalam also.
Wow.
Column is coming in Malayalam. So that way I write because I feel happy writing.
Yes.
So whether it is an office note or a letter or an article or a column, I feel very happy when I write because I feel I'm doing something productive. And for writing 5 sentences, you have to read at least 500 sentences. So that actually enriches you.
Yeah.
I hope that satisfies your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Sir, and also, sir, like you're saying that it makes you happy that you write. We'd love to read from you. So what are the topics which we can expect on which you plan to write in future, sir?
I write on cricket, but that's a column because people want to watch cricket, not read about cricket. So
Right.
apart from columns, it cannot take the shape of a book unless it becomes a biography or autobiography. I follow international affairs, particularly I follow China closely. So I would like to write a book on China, probably on Xi Jinping if I get enough material for that. So that is some dream or aspiration that I have. And maybe something on international affairs because I keep following that. That's an area of interest. But you never know because like fiction happened, if some other call comes, maybe I'll write that.
So we also look forward to your autobiography. Your
If it happens, I'll certainly give you a copy.
Definitely, sir.
I'll do that.
So delving a little deeper into what is close to your heart, what have been the guiding mantras of your life or life lessons that you would like to give that have been very close to you?
See, I came from a career in medicine. Those days, not many people used to, especially doctors, did not used to write civil service. We did not even have a paper on medicine. So a doctor coming to civil service was considered a sacrilege. So the only person who actually supported me in this bit, which was termed crazy by most of my friends, relatives, and others, was my father. So when I got into service, he told me only one thing. This is a service which gives you a lot of options for helping others. So to the extent possible, you help others. So this is something which I have tried. Then I follow one dictum, which is broadly summarized in one of the stanzas in Gita. Labande Brahma Nirvanam Rishaya, Shrina Kalmisha, Chinnadida, Yadatma, Sarvabhuta Hiderada. Brahma Nirvanam is beyond us, but I think to have some amount of satisfaction and contentment, you should have a clear conscience. So, second, you should not have any doubts, which means that you should be up to date with your knowledge and other this thing. You should be balanced in your outlook, and you should try to help the largest possible number of people. So this I keep as a broad mantra. I don't know if I've been successful in having all these qualities, but this is something that I aspire for. So broadly, you can keep set. These are the mantras that help me.
This was just so soulful to hear.
Oh, thank you.
Sir, whenever a good thing ends, a better thing starts. What will be the new innings in your life, sir, going forward?
I really do not know, because retirement is a bit of a, you're stepping out of the comforts of a government job, because you know that certain things will definitely happen. And the only thing that is definitely going to happen is the pension that I'm going to get. It should not be the problem. But jokes apart, I would like to do something which is closer to my heart, my passion. So do a bit of reading, bit of writing, and then watch more cricket, definitely. And then a lot of interest in international affairs, maybe follow that more closely, travel a bit more. So I definitely don't intend to take away full-time employment, but probably take on something which is more fun,
Yes.
more enjoyable, and hopefully more fulfilling.
Great, sir.
So it is said that some people never retire. They always live in the hearts of the people. So how do you wish to be remembered post 31st of May 2024 by our IRS family, sir?
I don't think in government service you have actually got this thing of being remembered. I would like to be remembered as a decent human being. That's all. Nothing more, nothing less. Because ultimately, when you leave the service, or when you get out of office, you are just an ordinary human being. So if you have been a decent human being, people will have regard for you. So if you have not been, people will not have regard for you. So I would like to be remembered as a decent human being. That's it.
So what is decent human being according to you?
A decent human being is a person who stands by his words, tries to help others, and from the government side has been responsive. This is important, because when you sit inside the room with the doors closed, you feel that everything is all right with the world. So unless you know what is happening outside, you will not be able to make an impact on that. So your amount, or the ability to reach out to the stakeholders, is the most important thing. Then only you will be able to know what are their problems, and or you have been able to make a genuine attempt to solve them. You will not be able to solve all the problems. So that is a humaneness that you bring to the job. You can be very officious and do only what comes to your table, or you can live in a very different mindset. But unless and until you are able to reach out, you will not be making a difference. So I've tried to do that. This is my feeling, is that I try to do that, leave the confines of the room and my chair and try to reach out. But then if I've been successful, people will remove me as a decent human being. If I have not been successful, well, it's the other side. So we'll see after 31st May where I fall.
That's a great message for all the new officers, sir. Like how we should look forward.
So
in
hope
our
we can be that atom of responsibility that we can take from you and carry forward to our
Definitely.
successors, sir. So now we'll move on to the next session of our interview. That is the rapid fire session, which will be dealt by Tarun Bansal, our colleague. So here I welcome Tarun Bansal to take the stage.
Sir, we are very honored to have you as our first guest in our new series. Thank you, sir. Now we move on to a very interesting rapid fire round that we call blink and miss. So, sir, as we know, cricket is your favorite hobby, and also you are a author as well as a runner. So, sir, what is it? Marathon, cricket, or author?
Author.
So, Test cricket, T20, or ODI?
I'm old-fashioned. Test cricket.
Sir, your favorite cricketer?
MS Dhoni.
Sir, for me too.
Great.
Mr. Cool. Sir, RCB, CSK, or something else?
Neither. Rajasthan Royals.
Sir, favorite book.
Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, William Shirer.
Sir, favorite book that you have authored.
Dividing Lines,
Sir, favorite holiday destination.
New Zealand.
One thing that most people don't know about you.
I used to be a Zenathaman fan.
Nice, sir. Sir, your role model.
Pandit Nehru,
Favorite cuisine.
Chinese.
Sir, what will be the name of the autobiography if you're right?
Jack of many trades.
Nice, sir. Sir, if not an IRS officer, then what it would be?
Maybe a sports medicine specialist, which is something I had interest in. Yeah.
Nice, sir. Three things that are dearest to you.
Well, my grandchildren, my dogs, and my books.
Sir, best memory of NACIN Palasamudram.
Best memory is the starting of your training on 3rd December when one of you actually lit the lamp.
Thank you, sir. One word to describe the 75th batch of IRS officers.
I love them.
Thank you, sir.
So it was just beautiful hearing the rapid fire answers from you so rapidly. As we move towards this last leap of the interview, what will be the words of wisdoms or the learnings of life that you have and you would advise all of us for that?
I suppose I had said my mantras to you. When Mr. Vivek Jory laid down office as chairman, he had sent his last letter to all officers. Read that. There are 7 principles which he had written, which all officers should ideally follow. They should be the cardinal principles that everyone should accept. And the last one I can quote is, sit lightly on the chair and let it sit lightly on you. This is something which has remained, but even the other 6 principles are excellent. So I would recommend everyone to read that letter. But the last one of sit lightly on the chair and let it sit lightly on you is something which I loved the most, and I would like others to follow as well.
It's very inspiring.
Sir, it reminds me of a quotation that 3-4 अक्षर लगे हमारे नाम के आगे पर वो अक्षर हम नहीं हैं. That there are some letters in front of a name but we are not those letters. So as we move towards the conclusion of this interview, I would like to dedicate some lines to you, sir. They are in Hindi. अनुभव और ज्ञान का बीज जो बोता है, नासिन पाल समुद्रम नामक वृक्ष वो सींचता है. राह संघर्ष की जो चलता है, वही कुछ कर गुजरता है. कई जुगनुओं को रोशनी देकर, कई जुगनुओं को रोशनी देकर, यह सूरज है जो कभी नहीं ढलता है. यह सूरज है जो कभी नहीं ढलता है. Thank you so much, sir, for being the sun, our constant source of light for all of us. You have lit many fireflies in us, and it will continue to spread the light forever. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It was wonderful interacting with you. It has been my privilege to be associated with this great batch of OTs, and I cherished every moment I spent here. And all the best to all of you, and may God bless you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.